streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Hey, on Good Morning Maine, the nursing field is full of high stress and burnout. See what the University of Maine is putting forth to help its students.
Plus, with this chilly temperature in the air, it's time to get out and see Maine's spectacular foliage.
And our top story, a major accident shuts down Route 1A, leaving one person dead. This and more local news right now.
Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Emma Smith.
And I'm Joe Cortez. Thanks for joining us this morning. It's a little bit chilly out there, about 33 degrees. If it was raining, it would be snow, which is a scary thought to have.
And of course, you would bring that thought to the forefront.
Well, I love snow. I've always loved snow. There's so many fun things you can do in it. You can sled, you can ride around, but there's not a lot of rain in store.
You never know. It's October. The days are getting shorter.
I know. Hopefully it doesn't, bring that peak foliage to an end quickly like we had last year. But Devin Biggs will have a full look at our forecast, and hopefully that foliage will be creeping down to our area.
I think so. Devin?
And thank you very much, Joe and Emma. Happy Tuesday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Crosby Sports Shop. With a large supply of ammo in stock, custom Damascus knives, fishing supplies of all kinds, concealed weapons classes, and a full line of Dragonfly UV tackle, plus the latest in ultraviolet tackle. Call today. Alrighty, we do have frost and freeze alerts in effect lasting until about 8 a.m. this morning as temperatures have gotten pretty chilly again. As the growing season is just about done around here, which is why there are no alerts being issued further off toward the north, though, as we head deeper into fall and the temperatures do continue to fall. However, though, we have high pressure nearby, keeping a lot of these clouds here that we're seeing at bay, so it does mean we'll be under a partly cloudy sky as these clouds will eventually move in today, but with high pressure nearby, that'll help to keep some of the clouds from moving in and really kind of filling in the area. Otherwise, though, we have the system right here that continues to sit and spin. That'll begin to track off towards the east later on. However, just mainly just clouds for us, but maybe a slight chance for a few rain showers. Not tonight, but tomorrow night that we may have to watch out for. But otherwise, though, futurecast for today, a partly cloudy sky today. Will be partly cloudy again later on tonight with a few more clouds as we head towards tomorrow morning. Otherwise, though, the winds will not be a huge deal at all, mainly at around 5 miles per hour. And that'll be mainly out of the south at times, but switching to the north as we head towards Wednesday morning. Your hourly forecast for the rest of the morning and afternoon period, showing a partly cloudy sky, temperatures reaching for the lower 60s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Joe and Emma.
Thank you, Devin. First up this morning, a two-car accident on Route 1A in Holden left one driver deceased. Matthew Jaronzik has more.
About an hour ago, a vehicle that was headed toward Hancock County appears to have drifted into the opposite lane. Two vehicles struck, and we now have a motor vehicle fatality here.
The other driver was not seriously injured. Holden police identified the deceased as 62-year-old Joseph Wadman of Ellsworth. Greeley says this accident is one of the worst incidents to have happened since 2017. While the scene looked ugly, Holden resident Jason Hamill says this is not an unfamiliar sight.
Happens on average at least once every 2 months on average right here within this, I would say, quarter-mile stretch. We had an accident right down the road here about 500 yards right over in front of the military surplus store about a month and a half ago. There was one right over here about 3 weeks ago that was literally like 200 yards down that way. There was one in front of the gas station like 3 months ago. So
the center lane was to improve, and I don't think it's improved too much in the area. Anyways, in Holton.
Greeley says the accident this morning only shows how important it is to be aware driving.
Regardless of whatever the actual cause of this accident was, we're still working on that. The big thing is to watch your speed and drive carefully. Don't be distracted by something inside the car or outside the car. To add to that, not being under the influence of something. Again, we don't know if that was the case here, but you got to be really careful, whether it's marijuana, alcohol, or whatever, that those are not impeding your ability to safely drive a car.
Matthew Jaronzik, ABC7 and Fox 22.
A single vehicle crash in Sedgwick left one man dead on Sunday. According to the Hancock County Sheriff's Office, a crash was reported on Snows Cove Road at 7:38 Sunday night. The initial investigation determined the vehicle was traveling south when it left the roadway, overcorrected and hit a ditch. The vehicle struck several trees before landing on its roof. The driver, 47-year-old John Wallace of Brooksville, was pronounced dead at the scene. The cause of the crash is currently under investigation, but police say speed and alcohol are likely contributing factors.
Carmel Fire Department responded to a car that rolled off of Route 69 Monday afternoon. Crews had to use the jaws of life to rescue the female driver who was pinned inside the car. Penobscot County Sheriff's Office Corporal Ryan Fitch says there were 2 occupants in the car at the time of the crash. The passenger was able to get out without assistance. Now, Fitch says there were several factors that led to the rollover.
At 12:08, we were called to a motor vehicle crash. The occupants of the car called us to report the crash. It appears that they were driving at a higher rate of speed than they should be on this road, and a deer ran out in front of them, caused them to go off the road and roll a couple times and get pinned inside the vehicle.
The driver was taken to a nearby hospital with non-life-threatening injuries.
The Bangor Police Department is seeking help from the public to locate a missing person. Nicole Tufo was last heard from on September 8th. She has not answered her cell phone and has not responded to friends or family on any social media platforms, which is uncharacteristic of her. Anyone with information is asked to contact Detective Robert Hallett at 207-947-7384, extension 5755. That number is on your screen, or email him at robert.hallett@bangormaine.gov. Anonymous tips may be left at the same number under extension 3.
County Sheriff's deputies seized a significant amount of drugs and money during a routine traffic stop on Sunday. The Sheriff's Department says at approximately 7 p.m., Deputy Cameron Barrow pulled over a vehicle operated by 34-year-old Roger Grego of Etna. Also inside the vehicle were 37-year-old Monica Clark of Bangor and 2 young children. Now, during the stop, Barrow called for assistance from a drug-certified canine, and Bangor canine handler Lucas Libby responded. A search of the vehicle's exterior led to an alert by the canine. The sheriff's office says deputies then searched the vehicle and located more than 1,300 grams of illegal narcotics, including more than a kilo fentanyl. They also found suspected methamphetamine, cocaine, crack cocaine, and an undisclosed amount of cash. The estimated street value of the seized narcotics is approximately $190,000. Deputies arrested both Grego and Clark. Each were charged with aggravated unlawful trafficking of scheduled drugs and taken to the Penobscot County Jail. DHHS was contacted regarding the welfare of the children.
The time is now 6:07. Coming up next on Good Morning Maine, if you're in the Orono area today, it may get a little loud. Maine is preparing for full-scale tests of its new emergency systems. More details ahead.
But before you go, let's take a look at our forecast. A high of 62, mostly sunny skies out there. The cloud coverage moves in this evening. Those temperatures dropping down to a low of 38. Tomorrow we'll see some more sunshine, maybe a little bit of clouds around the area, but those temperatures are back up in the mid-60s.
Harvested in the backwoods of Maine. Processed at one of 4 lumber mills across the state. And sold locally at a Ware Butler location near you. With delivery available statewide. Ware Butler Building Supply, Maine, from start to finish.
I was essentially canceled for coming off as ungrateful.
Constance Wu, leading actress, movies, television, tells her story.
If your tears could speak, what would they say?
This morning on ABC's Good Morning America.
When Katahdin Cruises and Moosehead Marine Museum want to know the local forecast, they log into foxbangor.com. Take a step back in time and experience Moosehead Lake from a unique viewpoint. Book your cruise now on the Steamboat Katahdin, online or at the ticket office the day of the cruise.
You know, I love me some good GMA in the morning. Robin, George, Michael, and GMA. Now that's how you start your day.
Good morning, America.
Yep, bring your friends.
What was the reason that you ultimately filed for divorce? Well, I started developing a drinking issue.
Alcoholism destroyed us. It changed the person I was.
In therapy, I learned that this man is toxic to be around.
Hot Bench. Tuesday at 3 on ABC 7.
A healthcare advocacy group is working to spread the word about more affordable health care. AJ Douglas has the story.
I'm just one of many whose lives were saved because of the insurance that we were able to afford.
Monday, a healthcare advocacy group called Protect Our Care held a press conference in Bangor to discuss how the passage of the Inflation Reduction Act will impact Americans. The new legislation aims to counter inflation by reducing the cost of prescription drugs and health care.
There is not a person among us who does not rely upon the healthcare system, either now or at some point in time in our lives. And for many of us, this is an ongoing and literally life-sustaining challenge.
The package requires pharmaceutical companies to negotiate bulk purchasing with the federal government, which allows for decreases in prescription drug costs. It also lowers health premiums for nearly 13 million Americans by extending tax credits to purchase health insurance.
Nobody in this state should have to decide between feeding their family or heating their home or getting their prescriptions.
Laura Packard shared her story of surviving cancer thanks to having access to affordable health care. She is now advocating to get the message out about the recent changes.
I think a lot of people haven't necessarily heard about this bill yet, so they don't know that seniors are going to have their medication costs capped at $2,000 a year.
The lower cost, better care bus tour will travel around the country, spreading more awareness about the recent advancements in the healthcare system. In Bangor, AJ Douglas, ABC 7, Fox 22.
Yep. The University of Maine in Orono began testing its emergency test system yesterday. The University of Maine serviced its campus siren system yesterday in preparation of today's full-scale test. Students, staff, and visitors will hear the campus siren go off between 3 and 4 p.m. Outdoor sirens will sound for several minutes during the test. Alerts will also be sent by text message, the university's homepage, as well as on social media and throughout the campus's UMaine portal.
The medical field is a high-stress environment and one that's received a lot of attention throughout the pandemic. Now the University of Maine School of Nursing is implementing a new program called Well Nurse. It's to help increase resilience while reducing stress and burnout in the field. Jody Hersey has more.
You can't bring to your patient your full self if you're depleted inherently. And this is the same with our faculty and staff. They can't bring to our students if they're depleted.
The nursing field is one of high stress and burnout, but thanks to a new $1.5 million award from the federal government, the University of Maine School of Nursing and its instructors now has a program to help them adapt called Well Nurse, which focuses on a person's mind, body, and spirit.
We're trying to experiment with different physical activities that will be motivating for students, faculty, and staff, but also easy to fit into their schedules.
From walking and yoga to meditation, massage, and mindful eating, Well Nurse helps nursing students find a technique that works best for them. Kenny Goucher is a first-year nursing student and former member of the U.S. Navy.
I've seen so many people that do like the burnouts to where you're just working so hard, so long. You have to do 12, 13-hour shifts. You have to do them for days. When I was on deployment, those type of situations. I wish we had a program like this in those environments. So I think it will help me tremendously throughout my career.
Although this is the first semester this program has been implemented, nursing students here say they're already seeing the benefits.
I've continued to do a mindfulness yoga practice every morning, and it's been profound. I feel much calmer. I feel like I greet the day better. I don't wake up angry or worried, so it's been really helpful.
Finding time to take care of themselves so they can take care of others in the future. In Orono, I'm Jody Hersey for ABC 7 and Fox 22.
And coming up after the break, we are creeping towards peak foliage season. A familiar face will be your guide to some of Maine's most beautiful spots.
And continuing with the fall theme, it's time to start picking those apples and finding the perfect pumpkin to carve. We'll be right back with the details.
Ladies, a Maine adventure.
Lots of Bob's Red Mill, lots of bakeware, lots of paperware. Fall's the time to get to Rennie's.
Well, so how much is this pancake?
$4.49.
Now you're talking turkey.
Thank you for shopping locally.
I have a great job. I get up early, head on out, and I get to work. I install solar panels. They power our homes and give me a great paycheck. When Paul LePage was governor, he opposed projects like this, putting Maine last for solar jobs in New England. He even said that climate change wasn't a threat to Maine. Look, we need more of these jobs, and that won't happen if we go back to Paul LePage.
The top funder of Better Maine is the Democratic Governors Association.
I've been having foot pain for at least 10 years. The first day I put the key boot on, I could tell the difference. My pain level has been so much better. I was amazed. The key boots made it possible for me to actually walk without pain. I can go shopping, walking around the store without wanting to cry. I mean, I feel like dancing sometimes. The key boots made all the difference. Very happy with it. Comfort shoes, it's just changed my life.
When Marilyn Monroe Spas wants to know the local forecast, they log on to foxbangor.com. Life is your red carpet. Walk it like a Hollywood star with a visit to Marilyn Monroe Spas. Our hair, nail, massage, and skincare services will leave you feeling legendary.
The warm days of summer may be over for the year, but that doesn't mean the adventures have to stop. Fall is a great time to enjoy Maine's beauty, and as Craig Coulson reports, the spectacular foliage makes it even better.
It was a chilly start to the day, but it turned out to be a perfect morning for an adventure. I teamed up with Maine guide Kathy Gordon for a little fishing on Pushaw Lake. We didn't have to go far to be surrounded by beauty. The countryside alive with color. Wildlife is abundant. Kathy is a retired Bangor school teacher. She now teaches people how to enjoy nature in her outdoor classroom.
I think people have maybe the wrong idea of what an adventure has to be. It doesn't have to be a big, 12-mile hike. It can be a 20-minute walk in the woods.
No matter what you choose, you're sure to see some amazing scenery over the weeks ahead. According to MaineFoliage.com, far northern Maine is reaching peak foliage conditions this week. The Katahdin region is seeing moderate conditions, and the Bangor area is still low. And you don't have to travel far to take it all in.
And it's very, I think, important emotionally, mentally, as well as physically, to get outside and get that fresh air. Mentally in Maine, it's really difficult when, we lose the sun. We've already lost 5.5 hours of sunlight.
We didn't have a lot of luck fishing today, but it felt great getting outside to enjoy the view. We saw a bald eagle, a few blue herons, and even a turtle soaking up some sun. All just a short drive from home.
It is good for the soul. Nature is the most healing thing you can do for yourself. And I tell people that all the time. They're like, you always look so happy. I'm like, well, I'm outside.
In Glenburn, this is Craig Coulson reporting for ABC7 and Fox 22.
As the calendar turns to October, we're getting all the fall feels here in Maine. That means apple picking and finding the perfect pumpkin. And we had a one-stop shop to get all your fall fix.
It's peak apple and pumpkin picking season, especially here at Sweetsters. This place has been around for over 200 years.
This barn was built in 1812. Maine wasn't even a state yet.
These standard trees, this block of McIntosh, these trees are about 100 years old. It's a beautiful crop this year. As we can see these McIntosh behind me on these big standard trees, they are just in perfect condition right now.
Sweetser says they have more than 1,000 trees with 50 apple varieties to choose from. Maine.gov shows there are around 50 fruit picking farms across the state. And what to do with all that fruit? Well, there's cider and pie, too. Another clear sign of fall? Pumpkins are ripe and ready for your doorstep.
I really like the first couple of weekends of October. The days still have some warmth to them. Everybody's just getting in the mood for, it's been a great summer, fall's on its way.
Fall is in the air. You can feel it.
There's a pretty heavy frost up here in this section of the orchard. The frost is a great thing psychologically. It puts everybody in the mood that fall is here. A lot of people think a little bit of frost adds a little bit of flavor to the apples, and, that may be true, but the apples taste great whether we have frost or not.
Now, I'm no expert, but they say the chill in the air does add a crunch.
The time is now 6:20.
And let's get Devin Biggs in here. He has another check of that forecast.
Good morning, Devin.
Thank you very much, Joe and Emma. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Crosby Sports Shop. With a large supply of ammo in stock, custom Damascus knives, fishing supplies of all kinds, concealed weapons classes, and a full line of Dragonfly UV tackle, plus the latest in ultraviolet tackle. Call today. Alrighty, so here we are. Some alerts in effect. Frost and freeze alerts are in effect until about 8 a.m. this morning. Of course, with the freeze warnings here and temperatures cooling off. And nothing further off towards the north. This really helps to show that the growing season is just about done across the area. Further down toward the south along the coast, we have some alerts still in effect with small craft advisories and gale warnings in effect as an area of low pressure continues to make things rather active with some gusty winds and some high surf. But back here at home, no, overall, we're not too bad. Just a few clouds that are approaching from the south to the north this morning in a few spots, but high pressure keeping us relatively clear, which is why the clouds have been staying to our south, though, and it will mainly do that today, but we'll be under a partly cloudy sky as some of these clouds will be moving in from time to time as well. The wave heights are active in some spots. For us, though, not too bad at around 5 to maybe up to 10 feet according to some of the buoys. Further down toward the south and west, so 22 feet according to some of the buoys. Farther down toward the south, though, along the coast, still seeing some active wave heights at around 6 to maybe 11 feet according to some of those buoys. But back here at home, though, our average high is 63 degrees. We'll reach for the lower to middle 60s today and tomorrow, with the lower 70s Thursday, falling back into the upper 60s Friday. The nice cool down just in time for the weekend in the lower to middle 50s, then back in the upper 50s again as we head towards your Monday. Your latest fall foliage report, no new changes at this point, though. Millinocket still at around that 50 to 75% coverage. Everyone else, though, for Bangor and Ellsworth, seeing at 25 to 45% coverage. And Greenville at this point at that 50 to 75% coverage as well. We typically peak at around early to mid-October, though, and for most of us, it's mid-October. So give it a few more weeks. These fall colors will really continue to fill on in. But futurecast for it today, a partly cloudy sky for it today. If you're looking for reasons to get outside, today will be a good day to do so. Tonight won't be too bad either under a partly cloudy sky. The rain tries to get close, and maybe some areas along the coastline may notice a little bit of rain as we head towards Wednesday night and parts of Thursday morning. Then that will finally begin to get out of here with a lot of sunshine on the way for the day on Thursday. So your forecast for today, lower 60s, partly cloudy. The east breeze getting up to about 5 miles per hour. Later on side, upper 30s, becoming partly cloudy with the wind overall looking nice and calm. For tomorrow, middle 60s, also partly cloudy. The northeast breeze, getting up to about 5 miles per hour. Alrighty, here's a look at your extended forecast brought to you by Crosby Sports Shop. We'll be partly cloudy again on Wednesday before we become mostly sunny on Thursday, but slight chances of rain movement on Friday and Saturday. Temperatures overall in the upper 60s on Friday, but cooling off into the lower 50s on Saturday.
You can always tell where Bruce Poliquin's been. Hanging around Washington politicians and the special interests that fund their campaigns, like big oil and drug and insurance companies. Poliquin leaves a bit of Washington everywhere because he's covered in it, supporting special tax breaks for big corporations and more government spending. No matter where you see Bruce Poliquin, you know he's always heading back to the swamp. House Majority PAC is responsible for the content of this ad.
It's another exciting year of high school football in the state of Maine. Get out and support your home team and be looking for the ABC7 Sports Blitz crew. You can get a free Sports Blitz t-shirt, then watch Sports Blitz during ABC7 News at 11 every Friday night during the football season. Blitz shirts courtesy of Coastal Auto Parts, Advanced Electrical Services Incorporated, Body Graphics Tattoo and Piercing Studio, JC's Variety, Leo & Sons Auto Repair, R&K Variety, Remax Infinity, and Rowell's Garage and Car Wash.
Mr. Ford, you have dogs.
Yes, ma'am.
A pit bull escapes.
And you keep a gun in your house?
In my house, correct.
And a neighbor breaks out his pistol.
He came out of his house already saying, man, get your dog, man.
I took out my weapon, I squeezed off about 3 rounds. Now we're in a little bit of a problem here, sir. Your .22 was supposed to be in the safe. What was it doing in your pocket?
Next, Judge Judy.
Tuesday at 5, only on ABC 7.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
The American Red Cross of northern and eastern Maine has deployed 12 Mainers over the past few weeks to assist in recovery efforts after Hurricane Ian tore through Florida and the Carolinas.
The northern and eastern Maine chapter of the Red Cross has deployed volunteers to deliver emergency supplies, help clean up, and most importantly, make sure people are safe. Executive Director Caroline King says she is grateful to the volunteers.
Many of them picked up, left their friends and their family, and went to help with hours or less of notice. So they are on the ground as we speak, doing the work of the Red Cross, and we are so grateful and inspired by them.
To help people affected by Hurricane Ian, visit redcross.org.
And a familiar face is joining us here in the morning show. He has been around for a very long time, and he'll be coming in, taking over my spot. We're going to bring in Craig Colson with your national news update. Craig?
Well, good morning, guys. Good morning, everyone. A horrible scene down south. The death toll from Hurricane Ian is rising this morning. At least 103 people in Florida and North Carolina have been killed by the storm, and the urgent search for survivors continues. It all comes as President Biden plans to visit Florida tomorrow to survey the damage. ABC's Jay O'Brien has the latest.
This morning, the number of people killed by Hurricane Ian now more than 100. Nearly a week after the storm first made landfall in southwest Florida as a powerful Category 4 hurricane, search and rescue operations are still underway.
There's more urban search and rescue teams in Florida now than in any one place in American history since September 11th.
Many of the rescue efforts focused on barrier islands like Sanibel and Pine Island, which had bridges and causeways destroyed in the storm and have been cut off from the mainland for days. Crews now dumping gravel to create a makeshift road to Pine Island for first responders and aid workers. And after Ian knocked out power to more than 2.6 million people, the state's largest utility company pledging to get electricity restored to most habitable homes by the end of the week. Some Floridians forced off the grid, just now learning of the devastation.
I just am now seeing pictures. I've had no internet, no cable, no nothing. So I'm just now taking a glimpse, and I'm...
I mean, what are you seeing? What is that like to see this area like this?
The destruction clear in Fort Myers Beach along the coast, where whole blocks were obliterated. Temple Condon is there, still waiting on help from FEMA.
We really don't want to leave because this is all we have left. So, I mean, that's the biggest fear. Once we leave, we can't get back.
The state of Florida has also created a disaster relief fund to help those impacted by the hurricane. So far, officials say it's raised more than $21 million. Jay O'Brien, ABC News, Washington.
Well, meanwhile, in other news, the highest profile case to come from the January 6th Capitol attack is now underway in federal court. Members of the Oath Keepers group, including their founder, are now standing trial, facing numerous felony charges, including a Civil War-era charge of seditious conspiracy. ABC's Andrew Dimmert has more.
This morning, 5 members of the far-right militia group, the Oath Keepers, facing decades behind bars. The trial kicked off Monday with the 5 defendants charged with seditious conspiracy, a rare and serious charge that carries a penalty of up to 20 years in prison. The 5 have pleaded not guilty. Among them is the group's founder, Stuart Rose. In opening statements, federal prosecutors said Rose and the other defendants, quote, concocted a plan for an armed rebellion and banded together to do whatever was necessary to stop the transfer of power between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. According to the FBI, Rhodes allegedly began planning to disrupt the transfer of power soon after the November 2020 election. This is what he said just days after the election.
We have men already stationed outside D.C. as a nuclear option in case they attempt to remove the president illegally. We will step in and stop it.
That same day, he sent a text message to high-ranking Oath Keepers saying, "We aren't getting through this without a civil war." Prosecutors argue that over the next 2 months, Rose recruited dozens of Oath Keepers and then deployed the militia to Washington, D.C. and Virginia on January 6th to disrupt the certification of Biden's victory. In his own opening statement, Rhodes' lawyer argued that the Oath Keepers never planned to attack and instead were waiting on Trump to invoke the Insurrection Act, a move they argue would have legally deputized the militia. But prosecutors shot down the idea, saying Rhodes and his group were only claiming to rely on the Insurrection Act to hide illegal actions, and played an audio clip from 2020 in which Rhodes told associates that while the Insurrection Act gave them legal cover, his plan was to fight against the government no matter what.
Now, the Federal Communications Commission will take action against voice carriers for not cracking down on robocalls. The agency said on Monday it will start removing carriers from its robocall mitigation database for not entirely carrying out anti-robocall procedures. This order focuses on 7 providers, including Cloud4 Global UC and the Sharon Telephone Company. Axios reported the FCC is currently working on a new regulation that will make carriers block numbers previously used in illegal activities. That's it for national news. Now back to you, Joe and Ann.
Thanks, Craig. Still to come here on the second half of our show, there are 3 limited edition seasonal flavors that will be in stores while supplies last, all from one of Maine's favorite ice cream stores.
Plus, a touching moment for a well-known deputy chief. After 35 years, he is hanging up his hat. We'll hear the final call and more local news as Good Morning Maine continues.
Feel the difference of alpaca apparel from the Blue Alpaca Ranch and Store in Belfast. Stop by their ranch location to interact with these amazing animals and enjoy the beautiful Maine outdoors with your very own alpaca walk. Shop in-store or online today and take advantage of their free nationwide shipping. With their incredible selection of socks, sweaters, hats, and more, experience the unique qualities that alpaca fiber brings with the Blue Alpaca. Feel the difference.
In Maine, it's always buying season. And at Thornton Brothers in Lincoln, we carry new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Rams for your buying season. Here at Thornton Brothers, we'll help you find the right vehicle specifically for you to suit your lifestyle. As they say, the proof is in the performance. So come on over and test drive a real vehicle from a real dealership, or place your order with us and see why it really is buying season here in Maine. Thornton Brothers, Main Street, Lincoln. It's another exciting year of high school football in the state of Maine. Get out and support your home team and be looking for the ABC7 Sports Blitz crew. You can get a free Sports Blitz t-shirt, then watch Sports Blitz during ABC7 News at 11 every Friday night during the football season. Blitz shirts courtesy of Brickhouse Kitchen, Chestnut Auto, Coastal Auto Parts, Family Pet Connection, Key Appliance, The Family Dog, TNT Glass, and Westfront Market.
It's an exciting week on Wheel.
It's huge, yeah.
It's really big.
It's really, really big, actually.
Because we're celebrating some of America's greatest teachers.
Yeah. Very nice.
And with so many subjects.
Economics.
Vocabulary. Science.
Get ready for some serious schooling.
Wow.
It's Teachers Week on Wheel.
How exciting is that?
I love it.
Weekdays at 7 on ABC7.
You're watching ABC7 Bangor.
Happy Tuesday. It's October 4th of 2022. Yom Kippur begins at sundown today.
Fox's popular Beverly Hills 90210 premiered 32 years ago today, and comic strip character Dick Tracy is 91.
Actress Suzanne Sarandon is 76 years old today, and for national holidays, we have National Vodka Day, 10-4 Day. That one I love because I always use the gif of Burt Reynolds of Smokey and the Bandit when he's like 10-4 good buddy. It's like the most gif I've ever used.
10-4.
10-4. Yeah.
Susan Sarandon.
Susan Sarandon. What did I say? I probably
Suzanne.
Oh, Suzanne.
You were
Susan
worried about
Sarandon.
Susan's last name.
I know. We were talking about her in bold Durham and everything.
I had to poke fun at you.
That's okay.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah.
By far my favorite day, and I'm so happy it's happening on my last. It's National Taco Day because it's Taco Tuesday. This is great.
It's Joe's last day, and it's Taco Tuesday. So diamond in the rough. Taco Tuesday. Joe on a Tuesday.
Screwing up Susan's name. always getting through it, but
oh yeah, right. What's the movie? You made it a baseball movie.
Yes. Bull Durham.
Okay, Thelma and Louise, iconic.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, there's plenty out there we'll have to get to, but let's turn it over to Devin Biggs. He's another check of our forecast.
Good morning, Devin.
And thank you very much, Joe and Emma. Happy Tuesday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Crosby Sports Shop. With a large supply of ammo in stock, custom Damascus knives, fishing supplies of all kinds, concealed weapons classes, and a full line of Dragonfly UV tackle, plus the latest in ultraviolet tackle. Call today. Alrighty, we do have frost and freeze alerts in effect lasting till about 8 a.m. this morning as temperatures have gotten pretty chilly again. As the growing season is just about done around here, which is why there are no alerts being issued further off toward the north, though, as we head deeper into fall and the temperatures do continue to fall. However, though, we have high pressure nearby, keeping a lot of these clouds here that we're seeing at bay. So it does mean we'll be under a partly cloudy sky as these clouds will eventually move in today. But with high pressure nearby, that'll help to keep some of the clouds from moving in and really kind of filling in the area. Otherwise, though, we have the system right here that continues to sit and spin. That'll begin to track off towards the east later on. However, mainly just clouds for us, but maybe a slight chance for a few rain showers. Not tonight, but tomorrow night that we may have to watch out for. But otherwise, though, futurecast for today, a partly cloudy sky today. Will be partly cloudy again later on tonight with a few more clouds as we head towards tomorrow morning. Otherwise, though, the winds will not be a huge deal at all, mainly at around 5 miles per hour. And that'll be mainly out of the south at times, but switching to the north as we head towards Wednesday morning. Your hourly forecast for the rest of the morning and afternoon period showing a partly cloudy sky, temperatures reaching for the lower 60s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Joe and Emma.
Thanks, Devin.
Back to your local news. Hancock County Chief Deputy Patrick Kane is calling it a career after 35 years. On Saturday, Chief Deputy Patrick Kane took his final call as he heads towards retirement. It was an especially touching moment as his daughter was a part of that final message. And Chief Deputy Kane started as a patrol officer and moved up to a lieutenant patrol supervisor before taking over the duties as chief deputy for the last 8 years.
He has also played a vital role in keeping the local media affiliates informed. The town of Herman has welcomed a new fire chief. Cody Sullivan, who has been serving as the assistant fire chief in Herman, has now taken the helm as the department's new chief.
He takes over for Frank Roma, who retired last month after serving in the position for 6 years. Sullivan says former Chief Roma prepared him well for his new position.
I enjoy working with members of the department and working with members of the community that we serve. So it's really all about people. It's not about the job. It's the interactions you get to have with folks on a day-to-day basis and see the positive outcomes that you can have in people's lives.
Sullivan has been serving with the Herman Fire Department for almost 18 years. Maine ice cream maker Giffords is giving us even more reason to be excited about this fall season. The company is rolling out 3 limited edition seasonal flavors. The 3 flavors scream fall with pumpkin, apple pie churro, and white peppermint chocolate chip. They'll be on store shelves in October and available while supplies last.
Giffords was my first job. Did you know that?
Oh, really?
I don't think I've told you that. Yeah. For a little more mouth-watering detail, pumpkin is a creamy, smooth combo of real pumpkin and spices. Apple pie churro contains a rich churro ice cream with swirls of caramel, bits of apple, and crispy churro sticks. And finally, white peppermint chocolate chip is a mix of cool peppermint ice cream loaded with chocolate chips and peppermint crunch. In addition to being in certain grocery stores, Giffords will also be shipping their ice cream in pint-sized packaging for the first time. Don't go anywhere. Sports is next with Tyler Cruz.
We'll be right back. Forgot that was there.
Our Medicare supplement and drug coverage is so expensive, we're barely keeping up with our bills.
My husband and I were in the same situation, so I got some help from the Senior Planning Center. They were able to show us some high-quality Medicare Advantage plans that saved us a lot of money.
The Senior Planning Center, tell me more.
They have helpful agents all over the state, real Mainers helping Mainers. Give them a call, the Senior Planning Center. They were there to help when it mattered most. I'm glad I called them. You'll be glad too.
Feel the difference of alpaca apparel from the Blue Alpaca Ranch and Store in Belfast. Stop by their ranch location to interact with these amazing animals and enjoy the beautiful Maine outdoors with your very own alpaca walk. Shop in-store or online today and take advantage of their free nationwide shipping. With their incredible selection of socks, sweaters, hats, and more, experience the unique qualities that alpaca fiber brings with the Blue Alpaca. Feel the difference.
Seniors know a scam when they see one, like Bruce Poliquin.
My heart is breaking for our seniors in Maine.
He says he'll help Maine seniors. But the last time Poliquin was in Congress, he voted to cut $500 billion from Medicare. And he supports raising the retirement age for Social Security. Maine seniors can trust Jared Golden. Jared stood up to both parties to protect Social Security and Medicare.
I'm Jared Golden, and I approve this message because Maine seniors earned their retirement.
We know your life is busy. You have a lot to do. And like you, the news doesn't stop. So when you are ready for us, we'll be ready for you. WVII.com.
Welcome back in. Thank you for staying with us. We will start with an update on the University of Maine's athletic director search. Monday, the university announced the search committee for their next permanent AD. Maine named 15 members to the committee responsible for finding Ken Ralph's replacement, who officially parted ways with the University of Maine earlier in last month. The committee is chaired by the Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs, John Volan, and the members range from coaches like Amy Vachon, Ben Barr, Josette Babineau, as well as student athletes, Hall of Famers, and athletic staff. Finalists for the job are expected to visit campus by mid-November, and the decision on the next athletic director is anticipated in early December, per the release from the university. So some exciting stuff going on at Maine, new facilities, searching for a new director. Let's move on to some football and stay there. The Black Bears had their CAA opener on Saturday, dropping the game 45-20 to Villanova. The loss moves Maine to 0-4 on the season, but really the hardest part of their schedule is behind them. 2 FBS opponents, a ranked Villanova team. They came in as the 13th best team in the FCS coaches poll Monday morning. Now Maine has the newest member of the CAA ahead of them on Saturday, heading down to Hampton, who's ranked 9th in the CAA, just 2 spots above Maine. And on Monday morning, head coach Jordan Stevens saying the team's best days are ahead.
Really not looking back at the schedule, or, using that as any type of crutch, but certainly, we have a lot ahead of us, and we have a lot, we have everything to look forward to here, starting with this week, with going down to Hampton and a great opponent and an opportunity for us to get back on the field. And I know all the players, coaches, everyone's, excited to prepare and get back out on the field. But
excited to see what they do Saturday there. Let's stay local now, and we're going to move to the high school scene. It has been a strong start to the season for John Baptist boys soccer. They look to keep it going Monday against Caribou. The Vikings coming all the way down south to Bangor, taking on the Crusaders. Early on, it's a good chance for John Baptist here in the first half off of the throw-in from Sam Bay. Ellis Collenberg gets to the net, but a good defensive play from Connor Dodd keeps the game scoreless. A little bit later, Kyle Sidaway here is going to find Oscar Martinez. He puts on some fancy footwork and then fires this one off with the left foot. 1-0 John Baptist. That is impressive right there. Later on, this time it's Hunter Kluke. He's using his left foot as well from downtown, and he's going to get this one just past the diving hands of Logan White. 2-0 Crusaders. Still in the first now, time winding down. It's John Pangburn this time on a nice pass from Sidaway. He puts this one home. Crusaders go on to win 7-0 is the final. Moving indoors now to volleyball. Ellsworth coming over to Hampton Academy for the matchup with the Broncos. Broncos up 2-0, but Eagles showing some fight here in the third. That Shantina Griffith dropping in an ace right there. Eagles would fight to tie the set and take a lead. Broncos, though, they had it going all night long. Emma Schutt here with the service ace, looking for it again, but Griffith's spike is going to find the back corner right here, just getting in. The Broncos just too much for the Eagles, who wouldn't go away. Marnie Tracy is going to drop in an ace here. Hampton Academy is going to pick up their third straight 3-0 sweep. Moving on now and down to Foxborough, with the Patriots losing on Sunday to the Green Bay Packers in Green Bay, but taking them to the final seconds of overtime. They did it with their third quarterback, too, Bailey Zappi. He became the first rookie quarterback to throw a touchdown this season. Who would have thought that at the beginning of the year, right? Zappi was pretty impressive by the eye test and the numbers as well. 10 for 15 with 99 yards and the aforementioned score. Regardless, New England falls to a 1-3 start for the second straight season. But it's hard not to get a little excited watching Zappi play and then watching them really compete and take Rodgers and the Packers down to the wire at Lambeau.
It was a dream come true to play in an NFL game. It's obviously not the outcome we wanted at all. I just want to first give credit to all my teammates. They kept me calm. They kept me, getting the nerves out of me. They kept me in my space and cool, calm, and collected.
That's what happened, and he stepped in. He was well prepared, and I thought generally handled himself well. Certainly things he can improve on. We'll work on, but thought he did a solid job.
Solid job. He is the first quarterback to throw a touchdown in his debut at Lambeau since Lambeau was built. Pretty impressive. That's all the time we have for sports. We'll be right back.
When Cat Tracks in LaGrange wants to know the local forecast, they log on to foxbangor.com. Cat Tracks in LaGrange is your dealer for Hewitt lifts and Rolodocks, with the goal to get you on the lake faster than anyone else.
Do you need to replace your windows, but worry that your project will be hard to schedule and too expensive? Then call Renewal by Andersen, the custom replacement window division of Andersen. Our windows are made with an exclusive Fibrex material that's vastly superior to vinyl and backed by the nation's best warranty. Be sure to ask about our 1-year price lock guarantee to secure a price that's good for 1 full year. Call Renewal by Andersen for your free consultation and a money-saving offer. Installation is always included.
Joe Baldacci was born, raised, and educated right here in Bangor. He's promoted and supported hundreds of millions of dollars in commercial and economic development projects. He has fought to protect vital services from drastic budget cuts. In his first term in the state Senate, Joe delivered for his constituents in Bangor and Herman on jobs, school funding, expansion of health care, and protecting the environment. Joe Baldacci, delivering results for the people of Bangor and Herman.
For the first time, Shark Tank goes live Friday, September 23rd on ABC.
Sponsored locally by Comfort Shoes and More, 19 Moosehead Trail, Newport. More than 40 years of helping people out of foot pain.
Welcome back to Good Morning Maine. I'm Emma Smith. A massive rent relief program is effectively putting on pause, creating a lot of worry for a lot of families and renewing calls for a long-term solution. Late last week, Maine Housing said it would no longer take new applications for the program, which has helped tens of thousands of Mainers. Mal Meyer looks at one option for the long run.
Jeffrey Smith lives on a fixed income. His budget is tight.
So I'd only have $41 left over for each month.
But now he's able to buy the things he needs because of emergency rental assistance.
It took me a couple months, but they were actually able to help me with a couple of months' rent.
Faced with incredible demand and only so much funding, Maine Housing changed parts of the program this summer.
We kind of, tried to slow down the program to stretch it out longer. We pumped the brakes, if you will. That didn't work.
Maine is joining other states that have already paused or ended similar programs. New applications are no longer being accepted to get through the 11,000 that still need to be processed.
I'm terrified that we are going to see the number of evictions skyrocket for non-payment of rent.
State Representative Victoria Morales introduced a bill last legislative session that would have effectively added to the Section 8 program.
This policy was designed based on Massachusetts policy, where they are able to provide more vouchers to folks who are in need, and the federal government doesn't have enough for them.
Her bill gained support from housing groups and passed through the legislature, but didn't get the funding it needed. While not seeking re-election, she's hoping that similar legislation will come up again as a housing crisis continues.
This is an issue that's impacting every part of Maine.
If you still need help paying your rent, Maine Housing recommends reaching out to your local community action agency.
And with Tuesday's business news, here's Leo Jonathan.
The Dow was up 2.7% Monday, the S&P up 2.6%, and the Nasdaq up 2.3%. Markets closed at their lowest levels of the year on Friday. The United Nations now weighing in on the U.S. economy, asserting the Federal Reserve and other central banks are pushing the global economy into a recession if they keep raising rates.
The Fed raised rates 0.75% in September, the 5th hike in a row. Edmunds says car sales from July through September were down nearly 1%. The only standout is GM, which posted gains throughout the summer. And airlines don't have enough jets. Boeing and Airbus are months behind delivery of new jets to U.S. carriers. Both plane makers say supply chain problems continue. I'm Leo Jonathan with Tuesday's Business on ABC 7.
It's about 33 degrees outside the studio. With one last look at our full weather forecast, here's meteorologist Devin Biggs.
Good morning, Devin.
Thank you very much, Joe and Emma. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Crosby Sports Shop. With a large supply of ammo in stock, custom Damascus knives, fishing supplies of all kinds, concealed weapons classes, and a full line of Dragonfly UV tackle, plus the latest in ultraviolet tackle. Call today. Alrighty, so here we are. We have some alerts in effect. Frost and freeze alerts are in effect until about 8 a.m. this morning. Of course, with the freeze warnings here and temperatures cooling off. And nothing further off towards the north. This really helps to show that the growing season is just about done across the area. Further down toward the south along the coast, we have some alerts still in effect with small craft advisories and gale warnings in effect as an area of low pressure continues to make things rather active with some gusty winds and some high surf. But back here at home, no, overall, we're not too bad. Just a few clouds that are approaching from the south to the north this morning in a few spots, but high pressure keeping us relatively clear, which is why the clouds have been staying to our south, though, and it will mainly do that today, but we'll be under a partly cloudy sky as some of these clouds will be moving in from time to time as well. The wave heights are active in some spots. For us, though, not too bad at around 5 to maybe up to 10 feet according to some of the buoys. Further down toward the south and west, so 22 feet according to some of the buoys. Further down toward the south, though, along the coast, still seeing some active wave heights at around 6 to maybe 11 feet according to some of those buoys. But back here at home, though, our average high is 63 degrees. We'll reach for the lower to middle 60s today and tomorrow, with the lower 70s Thursday, falling back into the upper 60s Friday. The nice cool down just in time for the weekend in the lower to middle 50s, then back in the upper 50s again as we head towards your Monday. Your latest fall foliage report, no new changes at this point, though. Millinocket still at around that 50 to 75% coverage. Everyone else, though, for Bangor and Ellsworth, seeing at 25 to 45% coverage. And Greenville at this point at that 50 to 75% coverage as well. We typically peak at around early to mid-October, though, and for most of us, it's mid-October. So give it a few more weeks. These fall colors will really continue to fill on in. But futurecast for it today, a partly cloudy sky for it today. If you're looking for reasons to get outside, today will be a good day to do so. Tonight won't be too bad either under a partly cloudy sky. The rain tries to get close, and maybe some areas along the coastline may notice a little bit of rain as we head towards Wednesday night and parts of Thursday morning. Then that will finally begin to get out of here with a lot of sunshine on the way for the day on Thursday. So your forecast for today, lower 60s, partly cloudy. The east breeze getting up to about 5 miles per hour. Later on side, upper 30s, becoming partly cloudy with the wind overall looking nice and calm. For tomorrow, middle 60s, also partly cloudy. The northeast breeze, getting up to about 5 miles per hour. Alrighty, here's a look at your extended forecast brought to you by Crosby Sports Shop. We'll be partly cloudy again on Wednesday before we become mostly sunny on Thursday, but slight chances of rain movement on Friday and Saturday. Temperatures overall in the upper 60s on Friday, but cooling off into the lower 50s on Saturday.
Ladies, a Maine adventure.
We live here, so we know what you need this winter. Lots of boots. We got bogs, merrills, lacrosse, night scout packs. Get to Rennie's.
Thank you for shopping locally.
Molly.
Hey, John.
The car's all set to go.
Good. Have a good one. Hey, John.
Hi, Molly.
Good. Good to see you.
Good to see you, too. Hey, Molly.
Hey, John. How are you?
Good.
Come on in.
We're your neighbor, your friend, your banker. Skowhegan Savings.
Did you know that it's possible to buy the wrong type of flooring for your home? Whether you're a do-it-yourselfer or professional contractor, the experts at Don DeKalb Mainwood Floors are here to help, offering solid pro advice from choosing the right material and color to installation. Don DeKalb features the highest quality hardwood flooring sourced from lumber right here in Maine, from Maine traditions. Not only will you get a floor you'll love, you'll get a floor that will last. Don DeKalb Mainwood Floors, buy from the best, forget the rest.
I was a guidance counselor for 20 years. I finally get to fulfill my lifelong dream of being in the FBI.
Remember, this guy could be packing.
FBI, freeze! Oh, he is packing.
Well, it's that time of year. The kids have been back to school for a while, and most of us are settling into our fall routines. But just because life is routine doesn't mean dinner should be boring. To keep things fresh, we came up with a new Asian-inspired dish that's fresh and tasty. It's fried rice, and it goes together like this. The first thing we do is cook and cool some long-grain white rice. Cooling this makes our fried rice lighter and less mushy later on. While that cools, we scramble a couple of eggs and set them aside. Now, in the same wok or skillet, we heat some sesame oil and stir-fry our cooled rice until it starts to brown. Next, we add some peas and carrots, a bit of garlic, some soy sauce, and a touch of black pepper. Once all the flavors come together, we add in our shrimp, and we'll stir-fry that until it's cooked through. Add in the cooked eggs and some scallions, and you have a fill-you-up all-in-one dish that's ready in no time and is takeout fancy. And since it's packed with veggies and protein, it's mom approved. To get the recipe for our weeknight shrimp fried rice, just visit our website. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a shrimptacular way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Caught on video, a bear just enjoying life and creating a bit of a mess for a homeowner in California. Dr. Alon Antebi says the bear has been in the Chatsworth neighborhood since Labor Day. He says the bear was caught on video cooling off in the pool and even hopping into the jacuzzi.
The bear is also accused of raiding the outdoor kitchen and spilling beer from the fridge. And they say his main concern now is that the bear appears to be getting more aggressive. Well, I mean, it's his pool now. I mean,
and it's his beer now, too.
I know, right? He's just wasting it away. The doctor says animal control told him that since he lives in the bear's natural habitat, there's not much they can do unless the bear becomes more aggressive. Now, I mean, hey, it's a tough thing. I mean, it's nature.
We're missing a key journalistic term here. Allegedly.
Allegedly, but I mean, man, that bear is
We had no video evidence for stealing beer or becoming aggressive.
Just don't stock the fridge. Don't put berries, don't put things, just don't stock the fridge.
Yes.
And, maybe lock the gate.
Ask him to get a personal fridge.
Yeah, hey, buddy, you got to get your own beer in here, okay?
Good Morning America is next on ABC 7.
And stay with us for the second hour of Good Morning Maine. That is coming up next on Fox 22. We hope you have a great Taco Tuesday. We'll see you soon.
Looking for your dream home? Contact a Next Homie today and see what's available right now. Sellers, get ready to get looped and get sold. With Next Home Experience, we have your buyers.
Hanks Husqvarna is your full-line Husqvarna dealer with 2 convenient locations, 32 Old State Road in Carmel and 19 Moosehead Trail in Newport. Whether it's tractors and zero turns, chainsaws to trimmers, or pressure washers to snow blowers, everything is set up, serviced, and ready to go by our certified Husqvarna technician. And all sales are backed by our in-house Husqvarna warranty. For parts, service, or sales, stop in to Hanks Husqvarna, Carmel or Newport.
If a scammer was calling, would you know? Keep these tips in mind to quickly spot phone scams.
Never pay someone in gift cards, ever. No legitimate caller would demand secrecy from you. That's a red flag.
If a caller tells you a family member is in grave trouble, hang up and call the family member direct. And don't provide confirmation information